Meeting to order. I'd like members from Troop 507 from the First Christian Church to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Colasar.
Here.
Lamb.
Here.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
Hilberg.
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of January 14, 2013, as prepared by the clerk and submitted, be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council. We had a good discussion this time, and we'll be meeting again next 2 weeks from today prior to council. Health, Safety, and Sanitation Committee, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is a meeting scheduled on March 19th, time to be announced, probably 5:30.
Thank you. Public Properties Committee, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Properties is scheduled to meet on Tuesday, February 5th at 5:30 here at City Hall.
Thank you. Special Legislation Committee, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Special Legislation Committee will meet this Thursday, January 31st at 6:30.
Thank you. Streets and Sidewalks Committee, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do have a meeting scheduled for February 26th, 5:30 here at City Hall.
Thank you. Water and Utilities Committee, Mr. Colzar.
Thank you, Mr. President. Water and Utilities had a meeting on January 16th, and we are in the process of scheduling a meeting for February, but nothing's concrete yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Requests for council action. We have several for Finance Committee. We have 1310, budget amendments, 1311, expenditure over $15,000 for firewalls, 1312, municipal court clerk salaries, 1313, 406 South Broadway funding for parking lot, 1314, amendment to codified ordinances, section 161.11, unpaid taxes, 1315, bids, 2013 residential drainage improvements, 1316, easement, Progressive Medina Real Estate, and 1317, amending ordinance 113, municipally owned parking lots. Reports from municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Sunday, January 20th at 4 p.m., the Second Baptist Church hosted the Martin Luther King celebration service on Bronson Street. The city was well represented by council members Paul Rose, Bill Lamb, and Brian Hilberg. Finance Director Keith Durham and I attended, as well as officials from Medina County, the City of Brunswick, and Montville Township. It was probably one of the largest services since they've been hosting them. The church, as well as the back area, was completely full, which is good to see. On Wednesday, January 30th, Dr. Michael Roizen, the international health expert on wellness from the Cleveland Clinic, will be speaking at the Performing Arts Center at 7 p.m. There are a small amount of tickets available at Medina Hospital. There are no charge for the tickets, but a donation of a non-perishable food item is asked when you pick the tickets up. The doors open at 6:30. The talk starts at 7. We will have a small amount of tickets here at at the mayor's office at Don's desk. And
No, you had it right the first time.
They don't,
Don's office.
Right. They don't let me in charge of those things, so she'll have those available. And last but not least, I'd like to invite the families up for their presentation of a proclamation proclaiming the week of February 7th to 14th of this year to be Congenital Heart Defect Week in Medina. Proclamation reads, City of Medina Proclamation, whereas congenital heart defects are the most frequently occurring birth defect and the leading cause of birth defects-related deaths worldwide, and whereas over 1 million families across America are facing the challenges and hardships of raising children with congenital heart defects, and whereas every year 40,000 babies are born in the United States with congenital heart defects, and whereas some congenital heart conditions cause many cases of sudden cardiac death in young athletes, and whereas despite these statistics, newborns and young athletes are not routinely screened for congenital heart defects, and whereas a disproportionately small amount of funding is available for congenital heart defect research and support, and whereas the establishment of Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week will also provide the opportunity to share experience and information with the public and the media in order to raise public awareness about congenital heart defects. Now therefore, I, Dennis Hanwell, Mayor of the City of Medina, do hereby proclaim the week of February 7th through 14th to be Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week, and encourage all citizens to increase awareness, education, and services for congenital heart defects. This is whereof I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Medina to be put on. Would you like to say something to bring the microphone home?
We just want to say thank you. We're just a very, very small group of families in the Medina area alone that are raising children with congenital heart defects. All 3 of our children represented today were born with half a heart, meaning none of them have left ventricles. So this has a large impact on their life, but they're all doing great right now. And with advances in medical technology, we're going to live a nice, long, happy life. Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you all for coming, and God bless you and your children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Simpson.
if anybody in the public would like to get involved and help children like this, you can contact the University Hospital's Rainbow Babies and Children, Akron Children's Hospital, their congenital heart disease unit, the Cleveland Clinic congenital heart disease unit, and I always encourage people to contact St. Jude's Hospital. There's all these facilities just go out of their way to provide help not only for the patients but the families of those patients. So please get involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Durham, Finance Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have my usual reminder that all residents are required to file income tax returns for city income tax. We offer free assistance with the forms. We also have the forms available here at City Hall, or you can get them from the internet. But we have 4 opportunities to get help with those forms. Saturday, March 2nd from 9 to 4, Tuesday, March 11th from 1 to 8, Wednesday, April 3rd from 1 to 8, and finally Saturday, April 13th from 9 to 4. And all those will be at the Rec Center.
Thank you. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Lieutenant Starcher, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Wright, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a note for council and the public. A couple of weeks ago, Domino's Pizza opened a new store at 1209 North Court Street, and they are extremely eager to get involved with the community, and they are having a Medina City Schools dough raising night for every order that Domino's Pizza receives on February 7th. They will designate or donate 10% of the sales to benefit the Friends of Medina City Schools. And they are going to have some really nice specials that day. And I would just ask everybody to get out and order a pizza and support Medina City Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, Recreation Center Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple quick things. The Medina Rec Frosty 5K Run and Walk is Sunday, February 10th with a start time of 9 a.m. at the Rec Center. Cost is $15 for members, $20 for non-members, and if you register before January 30th, you'll get a free race T-shirt Check-in starts at 8:15, and prizes will be awarded to winners in different age categories. Our next scheduled advisory board meeting is Thursday, February 21st at 7:30 a.m. at the Rec Center. And lastly, the Medina Rec is in dire need of lifeguards at the facility, mainly early morning shifts starting about 5:30 in the morning. Aquatics will be running a discounted lifeguard training course to try and meet the needs. The program starts on February 26th through March 21st and is a cost of $100 for members and $110 for non-members, which is $100 off from last year's fees. The Rec is also currently looking for a part-time pool manager at a max of 29 hours a week. Please inquire with our aquatics manager, Darlene Duncan, at 330-721-6942 if you qualify and have the certifications required to be a pool manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vogel, building official.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I would like to ask a favor of the citizens of Medina. Throughout the course of the year, we are involved in many construction projects and conduct thousands of inspections. However, all too often we run across a problem that we have never seen before and find ourselves scratching our heads over the solution. I myself have been fortunate here to have seen many building problems and almost as many solutions. Contractors and homeowners have communicated with me their experiences as well as their successes and failures. It has provided a wealth of information about the structures of this area, and I have tried to use that information to help others with similar problems here. The favor I'm asking is that whenever a construction project is planned, no matter how big or small, please contact the building department and share your information with us. In addition, please apply for permits, use registered contractors, and call for inspections so that we can verify the work was done properly. This is the best way we can continue to provide a valuable service to our citizens, as well as be a partner in solving the always changing problems that arise during construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, city engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Friday, we accepted and opened bids for our parking lot, municipal parking lot, and sidewalk improvements. This afternoon, the Board of Control awarded that project contingent upon Council's accepting an ordinance that's on the agenda tonight, a modified ordinance. This project will improve two of our city parking lots, the one here on West Liberty and also one on South Court, and will also repair sidewalks on 3 streets in the downtown area. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Piccoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. A reminder to the residents and public when driving in snow and icy conditions, our salt loses its cutting edge at about 20 degrees Fahrenheit and lower temperatures. The street department does introduce liquid calcium chloride to the salt to help the reaction and cutting ability. Street department's been doing a great job with regard to snow and ice control thus far. Additionally, as the public is probably aware, we've had several water breaks, specifically in the area of East Washington by the hospital, also in the 700 block of West Liberty. As always, it's our intention to disrupt the least amount of businesses and homes, residents, and customers on each occasion. And we appreciate their patience and understanding, and also the efforts of the Water Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Swanson, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past weekend, we held the all sports registration at the Medina Cleveland Clinic from 10 to 2. All the associations were present. The hospital had representatives present to pass out information to parents about sports conditioning and strength training, as well as sport physical information. If you were unable to attend this event, there is still time to register your child to play. All inquiries, I would direct your calls to the Parks office at 330-721-6950. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor's appointments. We have utility rate review. Dave Mueller, term expiring 12/31/15.
Move to approve the mayor's appointment.
Second.
Any discussion on the mayor's appointment? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Council appointments. We have a TID representative, Patricia Hannick, term expiring 12/31/13.
Move to approve council appointment.
Second.
Any discussion on the council's appointment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the council's appointment?
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Notices, communications, and petitions. There are none. Unfinished business? None. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there is a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the front right microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Even the young ones, I guess. I think she's ready. Anybody? Okay. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. We have ordinance 1213, an ordinance authorizing the payment of $26,250 to Emergitech, Inc. for the CompStat crime mapping system for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Lieutenant Starcher?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a software program from Emergitech, which runs our CAD system for the police department for Medina Township and Montville Township. And this will be a data sharing and analysis system that will allow us and the public to look at our crime data, see how it affects the residents of those areas. It can take anonymous tips from the public for reporting crime. It can also, people can sign up for neighborhood watch emails as far as crime activity in their neighborhoods. It's a 5-year program, and hopefully it'll help us reduce crime with the reduced number of officers available due to budget constraints. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Kozar?
I'm going to be voting no on this because I have reservations about the costs and the possible ongoing costs of this software. I believe the city and the county also already provides avenues to find some of this information. And the city of Medina is a fairly low crime community, and I just feel that we already should know where the crime is, and residents already have avenues to obtain information that they need about their neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
No.
Colasar?
No.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Ordinance 12-13 passes 4 yeas, 2 nays.
Ordinance 13-13, an ordinance...
Yeas. I'm sorry, 5 yeas, 2 nays.
Okay, that's better.
I'm not
Ordinance
counting.
13-13, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to solicit requests for qualifications, RFQs, requests for proposals, RFPs, for a consultant for the fiscal year 2012 Community Housing Improvement Program, CHIP, including pre-application planning, application submittal, implementation, and administration, and to award RFQ, RFP to the successful bidder.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Any discussion? Ms. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. President. Filling in for Greg Hannon. This request is for the selection of a consultant to assist in the application and administration of the city's upcoming year 2012 CHIP application. The CHIP program is a competitive funding source that provides housing repair and rehab assistance to low to moderate income residents. The emergency clause has been requested as there are a significant number of public notice and advertising requirements to complete prior to the April submittal.
Thank you. Any further comments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Coin?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Coin?
Yes.
Hilberg?
Yes.
Colasar?
Yes.
Lamb?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Shields?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Ordinance 13-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 14-13, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a revocable use permit with Laura J. McDonald for the use and occupancy of a part of city right-of-way for a ground sign associated with 135 North Broadway Street.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Rice?
Thank you, Mr. President. The 100-foot right-of-way, combined with the building being at a 0 setback, restricts the installation of a ground sign at this property. Due to this difficulty and that a few other businesses in the vicinity have pre-existing signs within the right-of-way, staff is requesting the use permit. Additionally, the sign will be subject to design review by the Historic Preservation Board. Staff is also working with the property owners of the other signs within the right-of-way to confirm past permits and if any additional use permits may be needed. The emergency clause has been requested to accommodate the business owner's need to install the sign in the coming weeks.
Emergency clause has been requested? I don't think so. I guess when we talked about this at finance, do we talk about? I don't think it was passed with the emergency clause at finance. I don't recall. I don't think it was.
I'd have to look back. I don't know.
so.
You can request it
I
now.
guess we can request it now if you want to. Is it absolutely necessary, I guess, Ms. Rice, that we have the emergency clause in this case?
I'm looking at the request for council action that Greg had put in. He did originally request it and said the property owner has expressed a hardship in the need to have the sign installed during the upcoming tax season.
That was shared with council at the
So-
finance meeting. Because of the upcoming season, to wait the 30 days would be
No, I
problematic.
understand. I guess I don't recall us actually taking action on that emergency clause, but we could take it now if everybody feels comfortable with it. Everybody okay with that?
Sure.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I'll move to add the emergency clause.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Any discussion on the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Hilberg. Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
No.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-1.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Low battery.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Ordinance 14-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 15-13, an ordinance approving the Fifth Amendment to the City of Medina Montville Township Joint Economic Development District and Annexation Contract, amending the expansion map, adding territory to the district.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Rice, do you want to talk about this?
Well, the thing says Third Amendment, but is it the Fifth? I guess.
It says Fifth.
It needs to be changed to 5th.
It's a Fifth.
Okay. This is to approve the jet expansion district map for Route 18.
And again, as I spoke with the last meeting on the Fourth Amendment, we did a modification expanding the expansion area, which does not mean you're part of the JED. It means you have the opportunity to become part of the JED. And I believe Montville Township at their last meeting a week ago, I believe, discussed the revised area and they modified it once again, which whatever they want to modify, I think we're okay with because the land's in their township. So they modified it one more time. Now we have to approve their modification on Route 18 corridor between 71 and Windfall Road of the parcels that will be included in the potential area to be part of the JED as long as the property owner wishes to join. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Ordinance 15-13 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 16-13, an ordinance amending ordinance number 21312 passed December 10th, 2012. Amendments to the 2013 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item can be removed. The first line of this can be removed. The second line is property taxes on recently acquired properties that are not yet, we don't yet have the exemption for, and it wasn't budgeted for because at the time that we did the budgets last year, we did not yet own the properties. And the third is for the contribution to the CIC, and then the last two are for appropriating proceeds of the auction.
And just for clarification on the contribution made to the CIC, it is not for legal expenses. It's just a general contribution made to the Community Improvement Corporation, just as a clarification. Any further discussion or comment?
Mr. President, I'd
Mr.
like
Rose.
to clarify also that the funds going to the JED are not coming from the general fund, but from funds that were generated by the JED.
Yeah, thank you. You are correct. Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 16-13 passes 7-0.
We have one addition to tonight's agenda, and that's ordinance 17-13.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that ordinance -17-13 be added to the agenda at this time.
Second.
Any discussion on adding ordinance 17-13? Will the clerk please call the roll on adding ordinance 17-13?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 17-13, an ordinance amending ordinance number 113, passed January 7th, 2013, relative to various improvements to municipally owned parking lots and sidewalks.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause.
Any further discussion? Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. As I mentioned earlier, Friday we passed this, we accepted bids for the parking lot and sidewalk improvements. The low bid came in at about $64,000. The ordinance allocated $60,000. In order to meet our requirement for the bond issue, we need to award a contract today. So we're requesting that we increase the cost of the contract to $67,000. That will cover the bid, along with any potential extras. And we mentioned some other improvements we'd like to get taken care of at Finance Committee meeting as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Is this discussion on the emergency clause?
This is, okay.
Or
Discussion on
either.
emergency clause only. We'll do that first. Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0.
Any further discussion on the ordinance?
Well, let me just say this. I pretty much aired everything that needed to be aired about my disagreement with this, but it is not with the project. I think it's commendable that the administration has continued to work to improve the uptown area of Medina. I think it's a good project. My only disagreement is with the priority, and I'm pretty certain that we're going to deal with some other issues that I think are important, and there's no reason for me to dissent on the vote here because I think I made clear my sense of prioritization in the finance meeting, so I'll leave it at that.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. And I think Mr. Simpson indicated they will be having a meeting to discuss the sidewalk issues and developing a program in which to repair and replace the poor areas around the city, working probably from the center out, but that's
Correct.
for discussion to be had. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 17-13 passes 7-0.
Council comments?
Mr. President.
Mr. Simpson?
I've got a few things I'd like to comment on tonight, all positive things, I think. First of all, I'd like to commend Mr. Piccoli and his staff on the work, not only on the recent snows. We got so accustomed to last year having such a mild season, and so far this year we've only had a few bad times. But this morning and the week prior, they did a great job, and along with the water main breaks, they would never happen at the opportune time, and with the extremely low temperatures that we had, I commend your staff for the job that they did during that inclement weather. There's just some personal comments that I have. I'm a C-SPAN junkie, so today was a good day for me. In bipartisan order, the Congress has agreed to tackle immigration reform, which has been on. Senator Kennedy started that back in the I believe 80s or 90s, so they're actually starting to address that, which is long overdue. I just received an email during our finance meeting that the Senate has passed the Storm Sandy recovery funds, which is $50 billion. Some of those people have been without power and a place to live for actually a couple months now. So that was another positive thing. So I think, and it was bipartisan. So I think a lot of people talk bad about our government, but I think we're finally going to start seeing some positive movements where there's bipartisanship, which was the way that it should be. Also, on the news today, they announced, and I have to preference this by saying I have all the respect in the world for the Boy Scouts, especially our local organizations. They do so much for our community. They build character for the young men that's representative. But back in the 90s, there was an issue on a national level that came up that I felt for the organization showed intolerance. They announced today that they're revisiting that, and that intolerance ban should be lifted sometime this week. So I'm excited about that. It was, for me, as a C-SPAN junkie, it was a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further council comments?
Mr. President?
Mr. Hilberg?
Just a reminder, there's going to be a Ward 1 meeting on Monday, February 5th. It'll be held at Fire Station 1 at 7 p.m., 300 West Reagan Parkway. Thank you.
Thank you. Other council comments? Mr. Shields?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion at this time to council to go into executive session for the purpose of land acquisition.
Second.
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on recessing into executive session?
Hilberg.
Yes.
Colasar.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
We will not be returning to take any further action this evening. Thanks.